Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Um, so, the two things. One, Brandon sent me a postcard from Japan. So thank you, Brandon. Um, my wife liked it so much it's up on the fridge right now. So I think it's Atami Castle, Atami Hot Springs. Probably murdering the pronunciation on that right now. So thank you very much. It actually cheered me up there. This is the learning computer. What's getting me a little bit, I'm trying to figure out, is um, the pinouts on this guy are getting me a little bit confused. See, it can't be that because you wouldn't have two addresses. See, I'll show you it's confusing me. Let me pull this up even bigger. Alright, so these two lines, well, the problem is normally when you use a chip, wrong one, wrong window. Usually when you work on one of these, you'll see, is it upside down, is it mirrored? Well, when you buy the chips, maybe that's what it is, maybe it's mirrored. I might have answered my own question there. But what happens is when you buy it, you get in the package. And the package just means I'm sure you've all seen IC chips before. They're in the physical dip. This is a dip, and there's a small output version. But if you look, this is what it looks like on the learning computer, and you can see it's underneath this glob. So they, being Tiger, did the wire bonding themselves. So maybe I just answered my question. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, it's mirrored. They did the wire bonds from the other side. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, the reason I'm talking to myself. So there's two pins here. No, it still isn't making sense. What am I looking at here? So there's two pins shorted together. This trace comes up here, comes back. The only two pins that should be... There's no connect down here. It is either connected or not connected. Let's see, does it make sense if it's only 5 up from the bottom? Or is this upside down? I'm talking to myself here. Let's think here. Wire bond. The problem is wire bonds. There's actually, it's literally like the tiniest piece of wire you've ever seen connects from this pad here to the chip itself, and the X-ray basically blasted through that surface. So only when I'm seeing no connecting. See, it kind of makes sense if it's mirrored over, but these aren't right because you still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or it's upside down and backwards. Upside down. This has to be VCC, and this has to be VSS, also known as ground. That makes sense here. If this comes in here, that comes in on VCC. And VSS is what they call ground on here. Well, it's not really ground, it's just the lowest potential. Yeah, but yeah, that's that. A18, A17, A14, A13, A8, A9. Why would this... Alright, so I asked permission to take off the to take apart the. Let me get this. This is gigantic. You can't see anything. So put that over there for now. I got some permission to see if I can take the label off of this RAM disk. It's more like a, I guess it is technically RAM. And see if I can open it up and maybe they use the socketed chip instead. So let me take a look under here. I did take some nice high quality photos just in case the worst happens. And I brought down, this is a plastic razor. Let's see if I can get under there safely. I joked via email that the label is probably worth more than whatever software's on these things. Was it crush? Was it kill? Okay. Sorry if this is not very exciting viewing. I'm just doing this under the stereo microscope. Oh, son of a dilly. Get some overcoat. Get under there. Come on, baby. There we go. The adhesive's still holding pretty strong. Kind of the problem is the label sits down in a little pocket. There's one. There's one screw head right there. This is regular Phillips. Damn. Let's go back down nice. It's alright. I mean, it's caused a little bit of damage to it. Of course, Brandon offered to de-lid one of these chips, so that's a whole lot more destructive than taking the label off. De-lidding it, you can either use a chemical process or you can take it to an end mill, basically, and just mill the top of it off. But the problem is when you do a sectioning like that, A, it is destructive, and B, depending on the size of the wire bonds, you can lose it. You can destroy it accidentally. Wow, this label is not being very agreeable. that's a good sign. So this is one screw there. Get this, get in there. Like I said, I did whip out my good camera, so I did take some nice high resolution photos of the labels. So in case I ever need to like recreate the labels, I can. That screws pretty close to the corner too. Of course, knowing my luck, it's probably going to just be completely potted like the last one, or glop top, which is a terrible way to do these things. It makes them very, very, very not serviceable. My son's in robotics club. He's really happy with it, though. So, the instructor tried to reel me in. I haven't done any. I mean, I've done a lot of automated testers. It's been a few years. 8 years? Yeah, probably close to 8 years since I've done that. Oh man, this label does not want to come up. Back in. These are cool. It has a flat tip. There we go. Get in there. There we go. Nice flat pull. I hate mangling labels. Oh well. Especially considering I know there's like freaking probably 10 of these on the planet. Oh well. It is a Tiger product, so it deserves a little destruction. Why did you make it like this? Why? I hate when they do this with a passion. This one corner here is just, oh. It doesn't want to come up at all. Ooh, this one corner's getting pretty goobered up here. Oh well. Sorry, Brandon. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Let's try this guy. Moment of truth. My screwdriver broke. What the hell? Really? Wow. Okay. Alright, let's try a different one. Genuine handy screwdriver. It was a local. It's my first job. It was a local home improvement center. It's been out of business since 1995. But I got my first job there in 1990. I was working in the seasonal yard, loading bags of dirt in people's car, and then. That was something. My first paycheck, true story, is I spent it on Rygar for the Lynx. Still have that game too. It's a very pretty darn faithful arcade translation. Oh, you're different. Ooh, you're very different. Look at that. I think you're still glopped on. Oh, you are a different creature there. Interesting. So that's the insert for the. Let's take this apart. What the Zeners are there for? That's those glass diodes there. Those are called Zeners. That must. I'm guessing. If I was a button man, I would say I know the learning computer usually runs at 5 volts. It's probably a 3.3 volt chip. They're probably 3.3 volt Zeners to bring the voltage down. Doesn't look like see, that's just part of the plastic, so whatever data's on here is probably going to be lost, but it's probably no big deal. I don't want to do this with conductive tools. Spring jump away. I'll get that in a second. Well, I'm going to grab that screw in a second, but I don't think there's any crucial data sitting on this RAM chip here. I think I'll take the door off. I think I'll take the door off. That's a remarkably long machine screw. Googly moogly. Okay. Oh, hope there's nothing crucial on there. Hold on a second. I don't want to lose that spring. It bounced between my legs. I felt it. Oh, where'd you go, little feller? I want to force it. Oh. Almost looks like it's a glop top as well. Be interesting to see the printing on the other side, though. Darn, you don't want to come out. Usually these things just like fall apart. What's holding you in place? It's got a real tight interference fit compared to the standard cartridge. Be very careful. We're hunting rabbits. Okay, there we go. Son of a diddly. Really, guys? This one has like a whole different orientation. UM62 1024C. Let's see if we can look that up. Of course, Firefox has to restart. Couldn't figure out your first 120 levels versions. Why not now? This is a UM62 102 1024C. Static RAM chip. File size. UMC made it. Single 5-volt supply. Directly TTL compatible. Well, I was wrong. Also was available on. Oh, let me share this. I'll show you. This is kind of interesting. Let me share my Firefox window here. It was a TSOP. It looks like what they use too. Oh, I can definitely tell that's it. Though actually, that's a good thing. Let me quit nerding out here. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Let me change this capture device. Alright, so this is the chip. It's a, let me scroll up to the touch here. You can see it's a it's exactly a 621024C series CMOS SRAM, static RAM, which you don't see much. So the package, let me go back here. This is called a T-stop. It's a top and bottom. Sneeze. It has a top and bottom package, and why that isn't crucial to me is I told you I was going to sneeze. Why that's important to me is you could see on this little guy here the looks like all the connections are being made in the top and the bottom, so it's definitely this form factor here. I just need to figure out which, if it's the forward type or reverse type. And well, this is actually really good information, because I'll be able to easily trace out what's the positive and negative, because there's a button cell that goes in here. And the button cell, the ground is this metal frame here. That's your little metal frame, and I need to print this out because it's way too freaking small and figure out what's what. Oh, that is some horrible hand soldering. Oh, so much flux. But now I'll be able to easily see this used. This is what I was talking about. I was wrong. The Zeners here are for voltage regulation into the SRAM chip. So I'll be able to figure out just off of the so that is power there. Well, that's interesting. So this is the positive side. This is the positive leads here, and they have it running all the way around, which is fine. But you can see it dumps into here, and they have this stuck in reverse bias. So this must be when it's see, when it's plugged in, when it's running, it's pulling. This is kind of neat, actually. Not horrible engineering for once. This is great because this tells me 100% certain this pin is the power pin. Because it comes in, goes to the Zener. These are both the same, I'm sure the same voltage Zeners, D1, D2 here, and those both supply the go on the other side of the board. Where did those go? Those pull up to somewhere. Yeah, that makes sense. It kind of goes to the same spot. So when it's plugged in, it's drawing power from the learning computer, not from the cell. So when you're doing all those reads and writes and stuff, you're not running down the battery, the button cell. That's kind of ingenious. But that's great. It lets me know that is the reference for it. So where does that come over? Electrically. Well, that's interesting. So that's the positive. It's definitely positive and there's negative. That's great, because now I know this outer is the positive. Oh wait, is that the positive? Yeah, definitely positive. That's positive. This is the ground. So now I can trace back. I'm geeking out here. This I know now is the ground trace. So I'll go through and trace back to where the ground is. Oh, sweet. That's perfect. That's what I thought. And this confirms it. It's surprisingly excited. So now I know this is the 5 volts in. This is the ground here. And then I'll have to go through and do a bunch of tracing back here. But this is definitely the right chip in the right orientation. And it can only go one way. Nice. Well, that or reverse, so I'll just figure out which one's which. Oh, that's fantastic. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but pretty close. Awesome. Alright. I gotta take some photos of this, blow them up so I can see it easier, print it out nice and big, and that's great. This means I can actually figure out the address lines properly now. Alright. It's a good news night, Brandon. Everyone, thank you for watching, even if you're not Brandon. And yeah, hopefully I'll have some better progress figuring out exactly what goes where, because this is actually much easier to trace back. It's got a lot of vias. Whew. That's a lot of. These are called vias. Goes from one side of the board to the other. But still, we'll figure it out. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone, and catch you next time.